I paid a very expensive lesson in the markets today. What's going on, guys? Top of the morning to you. It is freezing outside today. Literally, it's 32 degrees, getting kind of chilly, kind of liking it. What I didn't like is yesterday's executions that I did / did not take / did take but didn't execute well. We're gonna get into those trades here very shortly. Hope y'all had a good trading day yesterday, better than me. I didn't lose that much money, thankfully. I lost a whole lot of opportunity cost again. I could have made over $200 yesterday pretty easily if I'd taken these good setups and not even scaled up, just taking these good setups with ordinary size and let the trade work. Still focusing on learning and growth and have a lot to do still. And I'm also, I think, still getting back into the flow of things after being away at the volleyball tournament. I'm kind of easing my way back into trading, so kind of a long intro, but with that out of the way, we can go ahead and get into the trades for the day. Okay. So here's trade number 1. Saw we were forming a bear flag, and we were testing that lower limit, that lower bound of this trend. So I got in long there, just one option on QQQ, and then I believe I added right there and got in for a second option. Okay, got out there. So I also added a third option somewhere in that trade as well. I think after it pulled back again, which didn't really make sense after it pulled back to add another option. I don't think it looks as good, but I added an option anyway. One thing that I did poorly on this trade was I let it blow past my stop and I didn't get out immediately. Kind of almost got paralyzed in the moment. Dumped past my stop and I had 3 contracts, so I thought, oh no, this loss is going to be a little bigger. I don't want to realize this loss, and then it kept dumping and kept going through my stop. Thankfully, it was still not a huge loss, but it could have been a whole lot bigger. But I was just kind of like a deer in the headlights for this trade, and I executed it very poorly. Okay, now for trade number 2. For this trade, I'm going to pause it real quick. I saw we were just continuously dumping. Okay, we were very aggressively dumping, and I thought sometime the sellers were going to get exhausted, and the buyers were going to take back control. So I was waiting for that moment. I did want to time the bottom, but I knew that was hard, so I was waiting for the right signals to tell me that buyers may be getting in control and that we may be seeing a reversal. So what I saw on SPY and Triple Key was that we dumped. We kind of made a support level right here on SPY, and then for Triple Key we had that support of the pre-market low level. Then we dumped below that inflection point, and then we reclaimed it. And as we were reclaiming it and pushing above it, that's when I got long. So right there, I got out of 1 contract. I didn't like how we were meeting a whole lot of resistance at this level and that we couldn't break out. So when I saw that we were getting rejected and wicking at the top, I wanted to get out of 1 contract to lighten my load just because I wasn't as confident. I would have liked to have seen it break out and keep going upward, but it didn't do that. So I was expecting it to come back a little bit. Okay, then we got stopped out right there. Wasn't a great stop. I wish I would have made it a little looser, but I was pretty greedy and wanted to hold on to the majority of the move that I had. Didn't want to let go of that, so unfortunately, I think it did keep going up a little bit, did keep pushing up, but because I had that really tight stop, I got stopped out early and missed the rest of the move. One thing that I could do better on this trade is set my stops a little more loose to allow the trade to continue working for me. Okay, now for my 3rd and final trade of the day. Looks like on SPY, we're double topping and we are also meeting a lot of resistance here. And for triple Q, it also looks like we're meeting a whole lot of resistance in this level, and I was expecting us to possibly get a rejection and get a nice follow through in the downward direction. Got out of one contract there just to lighten my load. And then got out of my other contract right there at a really suboptimal point, but that's okay. So this trade right here was really poorly executed. This was the trade that was really unfortunate because I kind of got caught up in the moment and it didn't make a whole lot of sense what I was doing. So I bought at a good entry, held through this consolidation, and then when it started to go up, I moved my stop from here to above this consolidation period, which didn't really make sense because this major level of resistance was right above it. Selling right here, setting my stop right here, is kind of a foolish move because I sold it before it was meeting stronger resistance right here. That was super close to my stop. So also what could have definitely made me a little more fearful in this trade was I was constantly looking at my P&L. That definitely got me a little more fearful, a little more emotional, and that definitely affected how I executed this trade. How this trade played out, which we'll get to, is it hit this right here, I believe was the high, where it hit, it wigged, and then it fell all the way to making new lows of the day. Okay, now to review the account for the day. Made $10 yesterday, lost $11 today, so we're down $1 for the week. Not a big hole for us to dig out of. Here's what the calendar looks like. Had 2 weeks in a row that were green. This is the break that I took going to that volleyball tournament, and I'm still getting used to trading, still kind of easing my way back into trading after this break. We're pretty much break even for this week so far, so we're at a good spot to end green still. But yeah, I just threw away a lot of good opportunities yesterday, and I'm pretty bummed about it. But I'm also thankful for the lessons that I've learned, and I'm going to apply those lessons today and have a better mindset going into trading today. Okay, this is what we look like for the month of October so far. Still up $158 for the month, which is pretty good. Our winning and losing percentage is still 50%, which is fine. And then we have our cumulative P&L curve, which took a slight dip yesterday, but it's still looking like it's trending in the upward direction. And this is what we're looking like since the start of the account, which was August the 15th of this year. Down nearly $500, but doing a good job at chipping away at that, and also doing a good job of keeping my losses small. But I do need to start executing trades a lot better. All right, now for a new bit that I'm going to be doing is just going over some of the key lessons and mistakes that I made during the day. So don't check P&L for the day. I need to learn that. I need to not check P&L while I'm in a trade unless the trade's going in my direction and I'm setting stops to effectively capture most of my profits. If it's a trade that's either consolidating or losing for me, there's no use in checking the P&L. When I do that and look at the P&L during the trade, it gets me emotionally charged, and instead of setting my stops at good technical points that make sense, I may set stops at other points like break-even points for my trade, or other points that don't make sense when I look back at it. So it's good to take a deep breath, not look at P&L, zoom out when the trade is still working or going against me but hasn't quite hit my stop yet, and get a bigger picture, get a better perspective of the trade, and allow the trade to work. I also need to accept the risk of each trade. So 1R for me is typically about $33 to $40. I need to emotionally accept that each trade I go into, I very well may lose about $33 to $40 on that trade. Once I emotionally accept that, when the trade goes against me and it hits my stop, I'm fine with it. I've already accepted that. And now to quickly review the setups that we wish we would have taken, hindsight being 2020. So looking at SPY got rejected at the pre-market highs, pulled back, made a area of support at this 374 level, pulled below it, tried to get back above it, but then got rejected, pulled below it, and then tested it right here and had a nice little period of consolidation. I absolutely love this setup. I guess I missed it in the morning. I was also trying to edit yesterday's video that I posted at the same time, so because of that I was distracted and it probably led to me missing this trade. This would have been a really great opportunity to go short. As we set a support level, we pulled below it, tested it, got rejected, and then we're testing it again right here. It's just a very clean, nice setup, very good risk to reward, and I missed it. And then we kept pulling back and dumping, and then we started to see a little bounce. And then we saw this trend forming right here. This trend, this upward trend looked like it was forming a bear flag. This right here would have been good to go long at, as it's consolidating right at this trend. I think this would have been a really good opportunity to take maybe a contract, maybe two here. Pushed up, came back at this trend, pushed up, and then double topped. I love going short here. This is a really good short. It's very quick, only 2 candlesticks, but I do really like this setup. Dumped, and then it retested this previous inflection point. There's a lot of volume around this inflection point. This is a very significant point, and once it tested it and wicked above it, I would have loved going long here. Got rejected at this inflection point, would have loved going short here, and then got rejected again, forming kind of a head and shoulders, which is my forte to miss. But I missed this one again, and I was actually in this trade. So it's hard to miss it when you're in the trade, unless you get out early. You stop out early, which is what I did. So I really dodged a bullet on this one. I got in around this point, which is a fantastic entry. Then it pulled back, got stopped out right here, which is a fantastically terrible exit. And then look at this dump. Bam. This is the dump I was talking about, that it would have been just so nice to get this move. I would have probably gotten stopped out right here at this wick. So pulled back below my price target, would have probably got stopped out at this wick while it wicked up. If I could have held through this, but I don't think I did. I obviously didn't, but theoretically if I was in the trade, I probably got stopped out here. This would have been a nice 2R trade, probably about $70 to $90 trade right here profit, which would have been money. If I would have held for this whole trade, which after this pullback, it just kept falling and falling and falling, I would have made $200 pretty easy on this trade. But instead I lost money, so that was great. Then we triple bottomed here. Would have loved going long here, and maybe even on the second one, this higher low here. Both pretty good entries. Pushed up and would have had a nice little scalp there. Now looking at triple Q. Triple Q got rejected on pre-market highs, pulled back, set this inflection point, the support, pulled under it, and then we tested it right here, this nice period of consolidation. I would have loved going short here. This is the A+ setup that I would have loved to have taken for the day. I missed it, so that's good stuff. Bam, fell dramatically. This would have been a nice $100 plus move right here. Good thing I missed it, right? So sweet. Then we pushed up and we pulled back under this inflection point that we set right here, and looked like we were testing it right here. We did wick above it, so if I would have gone short here, I may have gotten wicked out, but I still like this opportunity to go short. We set this trend, upward trend, pulled back, pushed up, pulled back and tested this inflection point. Would have loved going long here. Pushed up, made new highs past this point, but then quickly got rejected by it. This would have been a good area to go short, and then this area would have been a good area to go short as well, as it's forming this head and shoulders pattern. Then we triple bottomed here, or double bottomed depending on how you look at it. We're at this pre-market low level, which is a nice inflection point. Would have loved going long here and capturing this move, but I didn't. I stopped trading after I missed this move. I was very emotionally not in a great place. I was frustrated and I was discouraged a little bit, but that's okay. I'm glad I walked away from my laptop, because I could have made some more emotional trades and I didn't. The purpose of trading with low amounts of money and with small capital, risking small amounts, is so you can focus on learning and growing. Once I gain consistency, then I can start scaling up and making the big money then. And that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm always looking for ways to make my videos more entertaining, as well as creating more value for y'all. So if y'all have any ideas, let me know, and I'll see y'all in the next video.